is Lab 6, Investigation 1. On page 106, there's a prediction 1-1. If you've not already done so, please answer that prediction. We have a single bulb on a single double battery pack. Instead of a single battery, I'm using two. I discovered that if I just have a single battery on this bulb, it's not enough current to cause it to glow. So using two, I can cause it to glow. And then what we'll do is we'll double the number of batteries to 4 and then put a second bulb in there. So make your prediction. I'll pause. Actually, you should pause the video. Make your prediction. When you're happy with your prediction, go ahead and push play again. Here we go. Observing the brightness with a single bulb. And now we're going to connect it with a second bulb. I'm going to pause. Okay, you see that I've doubled the number of bulbs, but I've also doubled the number of batteries. So now we can see what happens. This is going to be circuit C for figure 6.1c. There, and the circuit is open. So you can compare on that video the relative brightness of the bulbs. Make a prediction for prediction 1-2. What's going to happen if I disconnect this and oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to just take out one of these. I'm going to keep these, double the number of batteries, still doubled, but instead of having two, I'm going to have just one bulb. So I'm going to take one out. Pause your video, make your prediction, and when you've made your prediction 1-2, then push play. We're ready to test out our prediction. Single bulb, and I'm going to close this switch. Look how bright that is. Okay, and that, I believe, is activity 1-1. We're ready for activity 1-2 of Lab 6. On page 108, there's a prediction right before activity 1-2. That's prediction 1-3. Please make your prediction. Pause this video. Make prediction 1-3. We're interested in comparing a single battery by itself. So that would be just one of these, to then having two connected like this in series. Or I'm going to use these two, but I only have one hand. But I'm going to connect them like this, where they're connected side by side, where their positive terminals are connected and their negative terminals are connected. That's in parallel. Here, the positive terminal is up there. The negative terminal is touching the positive terminal right here. So these are connected in series. So make your prediction 1-3, pause your video, and once you've paused it, we can take some data. Instead of opening up file Lab 6 activity 1-2, I'm just going to use Logger Pro and use just the meters right there. Right now you can see that I'm getting readings that are a couple hundredths of a volt, and to zero it, let's recall, we want what a voltage is a potential difference. In order for this potential difference to be 0, we want this reading to be the same as this reading. So I'm going to clip them together. I'll do the same with the other probe. Clip these two ends. So now they're the same piece of metal at the same location. So both of these should be reading no difference, no potential difference. And yet, that's not the case. So I'm going to go and to this 0 button right here. And I'm going to click on 0. It's going to ask me if I want to 0 both. I'll say yes. Wait a couple of seconds. And we have zeroed our meters. And we're ready to take some data. For these batteries here, I'll call this top one, this orange one A and this one B, and I'll put one of my sensors on here. Now, the red one is the higher potential. That's going to be the plus. And the black lead is the lower potential. I'll put that on the minus. I'll do the same. That's then our battery A. And let's see, it looks like battery A was connected to voltage 2. That could be confusing. So I'm going to use the other sensor. And I'll use that sensor right here. I'll connect this to A. And connect this one here. Alright, I've switched that around. So that's our battery A, and that's our reading for battery A. And I'll put now for battery B, I'll put the other voltage sensor, seeing how the higher, the plus, is going to be my red lead. And then I'll put the dark lead. A lead is another name for a wire on there. And it looks like the voltage for battery A and the voltage for battery B. A is the red, B is the blue. Now think about how precise you want to be. Think about the precision. And go ahead and record your answers in your manual. Okay, so now I've connected the two batteries in series with each other. This is still battery 1, A rather, with voltage sensor 1, and I haven't changed those clips. But I'm going to put for voltage sensor 2, I'm going to have it now go across both of them. So the high potential is there, the low potential is here, and I'm going to see what the potential difference is. So now my second sensor is reading the potential across both of the batteries in series, whereas my voltage 1 is just reading the voltage across this battery A. And voltage sensor 2 is reading the voltage, the potential difference across both of them. I've connected the two batteries in parallel by sliding these slots into each other. You can see that this piece of metal right there is connecting this positive terminal to that positive terminal. Same's happening with the negative terminals. And so now this is voltage sensor 2 is reading on this little metal tab the voltage across both. And to get voltage sensor 1, I'm going to take, for the voltage sensor 1, I'm going to take this and just touch it up against this first battery right there. Now, how do we see the screen? Okay, there's voltage sensor 2 that's reading the voltage across both of the batteries. And this is a little bit tricky. Let's see, I'll put it right here. And then voltage sensor 2, voltage sensor 2 is reading them in parallel. And voltage sensor 1, I'm just going to put it across. This is where I need an assistant for a second set of hands. Here we go. Okay, so with voltage 1, when I connect them, is 0. Now I'm going to attach it across the battery, but I'm going to have it just across battery A. And how can we read it? There we are. So voltage 1 is reading just battery A, and voltage 2 is reading the voltage across both batteries in parallel. Go ahead and fill in your responses. I'll also disconnect it. Took both voltage sensors off. For question 1.6, it says compare the readings of the single batteries that we did at the start of this video with what's written on the battery. Most batteries have 1.5 volts written on top of them. Let's see if we can, okay, there's a little fuzzy here. Move it away. So one D cell 1.5 volt batteries. And this one right here, it reads smaller text. Might just have to take my word for it. But in there, I don't know if I can get it to focus, it also says 1.5 volts. So these are rated to be 1.5 volt batteries. And we had different measurements with our meter because they're not the freshest.